At the bustling Chennai International Airport, a young man named Arjun sat quietly at gate 12. In his hand, a boarding pass. Seat 1C, first class. The voices around him blended into the soft hum of announcements. Most passengers ignored him, but a few stole glances. After all, Arjun didn't look like the usual first-class traveler. He wore a simple gray hoodie, black jeans, and carried only a small leather sling bag. Once aboard, Arjun placed his bag in the overhead compartment and settled into the plush leather seat. It smelled faintly of coffee and new upholstery. He took out his phone, sending a quick text to his friend. That's when Clara appeared. The flight attendant, tall and composed, her navy blue uniform perfectly pressed. She leaned over, her voice low but sharp. "Sir, this is first class. I believe you're in the wrong seat." Arjun smiled politely, showing her his boarding pass. But instead of apology, Clara's expression hardened. And with a sudden motion, she slapped his hand, snatching the phone from him. Without further discussion, Clara ordered Arjun to follow her. Every step down the narrow aisle felt longer than the last. Business class passengers stared, some whispering. Arjun kept his head high, but the humiliation burned. He was made to sit at the very back. Seat 32E. The hum of the engine louder, the legroom barely enough. Arjun pulled out his phone from his hoodie pocket, shielded from Clara's view. He typed just 2 lines and hit send. She slapped my hand. "I'm in the back." Then he put the phone away, leaning back with closed eyes. In a corporate boardroom in Mumbai, Mr. Raghav sat reviewing a financial report. His phone vibrated. Reading Arjun's message, his eyes narrowed. The conference room chatter faded. Without hesitation, Raghav picked up the phone again, this time calling the airline's CEO directly. Midway through the flight, the captain's voice came over the intercom. Calm, but firm. "Ladies and gentlemen, due to operational requirements, we will be making an unscheduled stop." Few passengers knew that the call Raghav made had already reached the highest levels of the airline's management. The aircraft stopped. Clara, now pale, walked down the aisle. The eyes of dozens of passengers followed her. She stopped in front of Arjun, voice trembling as she asked him to return to his original seat. Without a word, Arjun rose and walked back to seat 1C. Once seated again, Arjun looked straight ahead. Clara stood beside him, her voice now softer. "I'm sorry, sir. There was a misunderstanding." But the passengers had already witnessed everything. And for some, an apology seemed far too late. The plane descended smoothly, wheels kissing the runway with a puff of smoke. For Arjun, it wasn't victory or revenge. It was simply dignity restored. Hours later, Raghav faced the press. Cameras flashed as he recounted the incident. His voice was measured but firm, speaking of respect, equality, and accountability. "It's not about class of ticket," he said. "It's about class of behavior." The story spread like wildfire. On social media, hashtags trended, opinions clashed, and millions debated the line between service protocol and human dignity. In her apartment that night, Clara sat alone, staring at her uniform. The day had been long, but the lesson, perhaps longer lasting. Meanwhile, Arjun returned home, placing his boarding pass on the table. For him, it was never about making a scene. It was about standing quietly for what was right. Sometimes battles are fought with silence, and sometimes silence speaks louder than any argument.